Come into the hall, don't hang about by the door. Move right into the other side if you'll be more comfortable. There are some spare seats within the hall here, so if you want to sit down, there are some seats. I think what I'll do is if we've still got more people around. As the bulk of you are here now, so that we don't waste too much time and we're not sure. I'll just run through some of the things because obviously it doesn't matter whether he's here or not. So I've obviously got a script, so bear with me. Yeah, bear with me. I've had these teeth fixed. Bless you. Right, good evening everyone, and thank you for coming, and I hope you will understand this meeting was arranged very quickly. It is not as organised as I would like it to be. However, we will be organising other meetings, so please bear with us. All right, Councillor Turner has arrived now, so he hasn't missed anything. Not the important bits anyway. First of all, I've received apologies from numerous residents that wanted to be here tonight, but for various reasons they can't be. So I've got a video camera set up at the back of the hall, so none of you will actually appear in it. It's just so that they can get a flavour of what took place and how many people have expressed an interest in coming here tonight to perhaps pass their own comments or to ask questions or to see if we can answer them. Just before I start the meeting, just a few thank yous. First of all to Terry Sargent and the Oakridge Community Association for providing the hall to us tonight free of charge. Thank you to all of the residents that have printed off leaflets and delivered them to your neighbours. That was extremely helpful. Thank you to Councillor Phil Turner. If you've never seen Phil Turner before, he's the leader of the Conservative group in Basildon and Billericay. Councillor Terry Sargent, some of you, well, a lot of you will know, who is the Crouch Ward Councillor and Chairman of the Oakridge Parish Council. She's also been living here for how many years? 30 years, that's what I guessed that, but so I was right. And Tony Garner, who's been a resident here for 28 years, who will give us some further details on the plan. Lastly, we've got a young man here called Alistair Dorr, who's part of the Billericay Action Group, who's subject to what you think tonight. I think we ought to line up with them and form a coalition with them and all the other action groups in Essex so that we've got a stronger voice together rather than sort of just being one voice in one area. Obviously we'll have our own say, you'll have your say, you'll be invited to everything that goes on, and so from that point of view perhaps we'll see if we've got a show of hands. So can I, perhaps if we do that now, do you all agree that we'll sort of line up with Billericay and the other groups to sort of try and fight this as a campaign? Fair enough, so I think that's unanimous virtually then, as far as that's concerned. I think this was important for those of you that don't know me, just to sort of give you a bit of background about me, so that you understand who I am and why I'm standing up here as the mouthpiece at the moment for all of you. I don't need to be. If one of you want to take it over, I'm more than happy to pass it over to somebody else. I'm not sort of making a crusade of it personally, but I just feel passionately about it, as I think a lot of you do anyway. So just bear with me a minute while I tell you a bit about me. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Paul Downs. I'm a local resident. I live in Handley's Chase and we've lived here for 8 years. I've served on the parish council as a councillor and as chairman, but decided I could be of more use and more vocal as a resident. I didn't want to be bound by the sort of code of conduct and having to watch my P's and Q's when it came to saying things, because we now live in a society where we have to watch every word we say because of the thought police, and I'm really not that kind of person. Some of you will know that I formed the Oakbridge Village Residents Association along with some of my colleagues here to communicate to our village through our Facebook page, and I've worked with the parish council lately on the Wash Road traveller barrier and various other different projects, raising monies for charities throughout quiz nights and various other things that we've done. Moving on to my political persuasion, because I think it's important that you know, whoever you vote for, it's not anything to do with me, but I'm going to tell you, I come from a council house background, as I'm sure many of you do, and I've always voted Conservative all my life, only from the point of view that I felt that they reflected my views on life more than anyone else. And having seen the problems my father went through, sort of with the unions in the working life that he had. 4 years ago, I decided to stand as a candidate for UKIP, having decided that the Conservative government were not listening to the British people with regard to mass immigration. I knew then, in years to come, it would have a major effect on this country, simply because they failed to recognise there was no infrastructure to support the huge number of people that would be coming here that would need housing, schooling, hospitals, and of course, the impact it would have on our road and rail network. This is nothing to do with being anti-immigrant. I wanted the government to consider the implications. At that time, I wrote to the Biliary Action Group when I stood as a candidate, offering my commitment that I would fight on any plan for mass redevelopment in this area. And you can see my letter, if you choose to, which is posted on their website for anyone to scrutinise what I said. I resigned from UKIP some time ago as I felt they'd lost direction under the current leader, which is Linda Allport-Hodge. Thankfully I did. First of all, let me summarise the reason we're all here. We have, in the first place, the Conservative government to thank for this plan for massive redevelopment and all the authorities that are being forced to adopt it. What I believe we all object to is the devastating impact it will have on the quality of life in our area. Even now, we recognise how our roads are totally blocked with traffic, the deterioration of medical services, both in doctor's surgeries, hospital waiting times, school placements, fighting to get a place for your kid, and of course the loss of green space. Make no mistake, these properties will not go to local people. They will be taken up by people moving here from other parts. They will. So Gavin Callaghan asserting to me in his Twitter, wrongly, that we were denying our children and grandchildren the opportunity of somewhere to live is absolutely ridiculous. These places that are proposed will not be suitable for grandchildren and children, I'm sure, at the prices that they'll probably be. We all recognise the need for properties to be built, but this must go hand in hand with the infrastructure that's necessary to support us and the new owners. And we must send this message loud and clear to our local politicians, whichever party they belong to, and tell them